everybody, and welcome to the weekly scopes from the 2nd to the 8th of February. Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's weekly scopes. If you've heard this before, you can skip, but this is just the intro on how I, formulate these astrology weekly readings. I use astrology and my intuition to give you advice how you can practically use the knowledge of the stars and the planets and apply them to your life. So my weekly scopes are all based on GMT time and on Vedic Constellational Astrology. So now I'm just going to explain what Vedic Constellational Astrology is and how it differs from Western astrology. So the precession of the equinox is sort of like something that happens in astronomy and astrology, where the Earth's axis undergoes a slow circular motion over 26,000 years, and basically this means that this motion causes a shift in the position of the equinoxes, and also the calculation Vedic and Western astrologies use. So around 2,000 years ago, the tropical and sidereal Vedic astrology signs of astrology were aligned in the same position. So if the sun was in Scorpio in Vedic astrology, it was also in the constellation of Scorpio in Western astrology. But because of the precession of the equinoxes, this has caused a gradual westward sort of like drift of the tropical Western signs. So basically these signs, the Western signs, shift 1 degree with every 72 years. So as a result of this ongoing shift, when Western astrology says the sun is in the constellation of Pisces, it's typically in the constellation of Aquarius. Still, this is because the degree, orb and the date for Western and Vedic astrology are 24 degrees, 24 days apart. So in Western astrology, the sun enters the constellation of Pisces around the 19th of February each year, but actually the sun doesn't arrive into the constellation of Pisces until the 13th to the 15th of March each year, and Vedic astrology takes this into account because it's based on the fixed star positions, and Vedic astrologers use sidereal calculations. So as a result, Vedic astrology takes into account the actual positions of the constellations in the sky at any given time, and also considers the precession of the equinox, adjusting for the shift in the position of the equinoxes over time. But in terms of Western astrology follows the tropical zodiac, which is based on the seasons rather than fixed star positions. Western astrologers also do not directly account for the precession of the equinox in their calculations as well, so this results in slightly different calculations and interpretations that are given whether we're using Western astrology or Vedic astrology. So yeah, as I said, Western astrology uses specific dates, so every year, regardless of where the sun actually is at the sky, the sun moves into Pisces around the 19th of February. So yeah, this discrepancy, this misalignment between the tropical zodiac and the actual positions of the constellations has led to a discrepancy between Vedic astrology and Western astrology. So I consider the actual where the sun and the moon are and where Mars and Venus are at any given time, and this is how I formulate these sort of like weekly scopes. So yeah, thanks for listening to this, and let's dive into this week's weekly scope. Okay, so now I'm just going to explain what parallels and contra-parallels are in astrology, because I use them in my chart interpretation. So declination in astrology is the measure of how far a celestial body is, such as the sun, whether it's either north or south of the celestial equator. And the celestial equator is an imaginary line in the sky above the Earth's equator, which us astrologers use in our interpretation. So parallels happen when two planets are on the same declination. Either both planets are on the north side side, or either both planets are on the south side, and this alignment increases the influence of the involved planets. So it's similar to a conjunction aspect, as it amplifies their energy, making the effects of the planets more pronounced. Contra-parallels, on the other hand, happen when two planets are on the same declination, but one is in the north and one is in the south. So this alignment creates tension, which is similar to an opposition aspect, and it can lead to conflict, challenges and inner struggles between the energies of the planets involved. So contra-parallels highlight areas of friction or contrast in our lives, urging us to find balance between the opposing forces at play. When transiting parallels and contra-parallels happen, they can sort of like trigger significant events, shifting consciousness and periods of intense growth and transformation. So I look at these aspects closely during chart analysis to understand how planetary energies interact and influence each other during a specific time frame, to pinpoint key periods for personal development, relationship dynamics or career shifts, and other shifts like karmic shifts and stuff like that. Because I just find using contra-parallels and parallels gives me more depth in interpretation, so I use them. So contra-parallels and parallels in astrology serve as markers for potential challenges or breakthroughs, guiding us towards more self-awareness, love, acceptance, understanding, forgiveness for ourselves and others, and shifts in consciousness and growth. So overall, just a shift in our mindset if we allow for it. So parallels and contra-parallels just kind of like provide valuable insights into the complexities and nuances of the astrological interactions between planetary movements. So yeah, that's the end of what contra-parallels and parallels are. Okay, so this week we've got a few aspects that are controlling our week. We've got a Venus in Pisces making a contra-parallel, which is the same as an opposition to Neptune. This entered on the 30th of January. It's exact at 3:31 p.m. on the 3rd of February and leaves us on the 8th of February at 3:35 a.m. and Neptune's in Pisces. Mars also makes a square to Chiron. This entered on the 31st of January, leaves us on the 7th of February, is exact on the 4th of February, and Mars is in Gemini and Chiron is in Pisces. Mars makes a contra-parallel to Uranus, which is the same as opposition, as I said, and Mercury is in Capricorn and Uranus is in Aries. Neptune makes a conjunction to the Moon's North Node. This is exact on the 7th of February, leaves us on the 22nd of February and entered on the 26th of January, so lasting us pretty much most of this month. Neptune's conjunction to the Moon's North Node, and they're both in Pisces. So this week, Venus's contra-parallel to Neptune can help us kind of navigate the world of fantasy, reality, illusions, dreams, and increases our compassion and sensitivity. Or Neptune, 12th house energy, so things that we do, self-undoing, so our habits, our secrets, our self-destructive thoughts and addictions and stuff may get in the way of us being practical and focused this week as well, but it makes us more creative and it can make us more romantic, open to love, and it's a good energy to use for all forms of creative problem solving and expression and art and spiritual exploration, and strengthening, deepening our emotional relationships and bonds. We can just, as I said, just have more compassion, self-love and empathy for others and ourselves, and this allows us to connect with others on a more profound, deeper level. So, this week things like meditation, being creative can help us channel this energy constructively of Venus's contra-parallel to Neptune this week. It's a really, really good energy to help us kind of find inner emotional stability and balance, but negatively it can bring challenges to our relationships, especially in clarity, you know, what people mean by what they say, and some people may go back on commitments and stuff like that, and there just can be a tendency to pedestal, idealise our partners and situations, not looking at things realistically, ignoring the toxicity and red flags this week, and a lot of manipulative energy on the worst scale. You know, Neptune, what does it do? It cloud, it blurs things, you know, but esoterically Pluto rules this energy, so it's a very transformative energy. So, you know, Neptune energy can be transformed into that sort of like fits water energy, whereas naturally Neptune is, you know, mutable water energy. While Neptune is in, it rules Pisces, so yeah. So ultimately, spiritually, it wants us to really think about our desires and illusions and the ways we ignore healing ourselves emotionally, connecting with our authentic selves, and being open to the lessons of personal growth, understanding. It's important to balance our dreams, creative thinking and romantic thinking with reality this week. Do not ignore red flags. It can make people manipulative. We can become manipulative. You know, there can be a lot of grey areas this week, so just make sure you check the facts. And, you know, we can kind of just really find it hard to make our Neptune, so that's our subconscious needs, our subconscious work of our relationships this week, so keep that in mind, you know, and secrets and all 12th house things, the ways that we imprison ourselves and others by you know, the rules we can impose on each other in relationships and stuff can come to the surface. So Mars is square to Chiron, also positively allows us to confront long-standing issues, wounds and insecurities within ourselves and our relationships. So it encourages us to heal through assertive actions. So what is that? By actually being practical, doing things, not thinking, doing. Mars is giving us that motivation. It's in Gemini, so we have to be careful because it's mutable energy, but it pushes us to explore new perspectives, new ways of thinking, new ways on dealing with our personal pain and suffering and our unresolved emotional, psychological and spiritual trauma, right? It's just to do on and offline sort of like workshops for some of you, courses maybe, listening to podcasts, reading books, whatever, you know, listening to music that helps you to get in touch with yourself this week. But we just need to watch out for misunderstandings with ourselves and others, particularly with, you know, communication this week, because this energy can make us fiery and pushing, and we've already got Neptune and Venus in that contra-parallel, so, you know, this increases our increased sensitivity to criticism, and we can just experience clashes, conflict between our desires and being emotionally vulnerable right now, and other people's demands, they want to be emotional, you may not want to be, or vice versa. You know, you could be the one who wants to get all up in your feelings. So it wants us to psychologically think about the underlying motivations behind our actions. It can stir up issues related to self-assertion, boundary setting. It pushes us to confront how our past wounds influence our current behaviour. And on the esoteric level, Mars is square to Chiron wants us to use our intellect with our intuition this week, and use you know, our mind's assertiveness with our heart's deeper sensitivities, letting ourselves use that logic, that rationality with some passion, you know, some love and sort of like politeness. Yeah, politeness. Be sweet with yourself. You know, be understanding with yourself this week, and having an open heart and willingness to learn can lead to profound insights and progress in solving your problems this week. So it's best to be open to solving the problems that come up this week, and this can allow us to use our strengths while also confronting our vulnerabilities and working with our weaknesses. Mercury's contra-parallel to Uranus allows us to have breakthroughs in our communication, so counteracting any problems that the other aspects this week are giving us with communication. Mercury's in Capricorn, so it's giving us that grounded opportunity to think outside of the box, but the unpredictable of Uranus can add to the sudden changes in plans and erratic thoughts and actions, and add to the misunderstandings and impulsive decisions and reactions in our relationships this week. So just make sure you think before you say and do things, because things are easily said and done sometimes, but harder to move forward from and to take back, So it confronts us to think about our relationship with technology and information. Are we addicted to social media? Are we using it to uplift us? Remember, nothing's wrong with any tool in this world, but it depends on what you're using it for. Are you using it to follow the trend or be the trend? Are you using it to allow you to increase your life or to run away from your life, So we can just have a stronger urge to question our established norms and the norms, what people say is the trend in society and in the world, and we can just think about what we think about authority and tradition this week as well. It wants us to break free from traditional thinking and following the crowd and conformist thinking, and it wants us to embrace our individuality, your uniqueness this week, and supports you in tapping into your intuition and higher mind and exploring spiritual practices and philosophies that resonate with your sense of self, building your sense of self while being grounded this week. And this can help you overcome, life's adversities and disruptions, and it can increase our sense of intuition and connection to our spiritual path, and it just encourages us to explore our dreams, fantasies and creative plans, and it offers a fertile, creative ground for artistic expression and growth at this time. So it wants us to sort of really go deep this week, go deep in our relationships, go deep with our inner and shadow work, but also pay attention to our dreams, have fun as well, listen to music, watch movies, watch films, be creative. This is what Neptune energy wants us to be open to as well, but we just need to watch out for escaping, overindulging in toxic relationships, substances, drinking too much alcohol, taking too much drugs, stuff like that, and this can blur the boundary between fantasy and reality and make us make questionable decisions that can have a long-term impact. It gives us the emotional healing this week and what we need for self-reflection, and it just allows us to have a emotional release. It can be cathartic, where you may just feel this week, this is detoxing, it can be in detox mode. It's a cleansing, liberating, releasing intense energy that allows us to have a deeper understanding of our emotions, the world around us. If we're open, it allows us to connect with meditation, astrology, creative plans this week, and it wants us to explore and merge the conscious and unconscious realms, our logic and our intuitive thinking, and encourages us to trust our instincts and seek and follow wisdom from within ourselves rather than following external trends this week and getting caught up in the hype, and it really wants us, and this week's astrological energies provide us with all we need to explore the depths of our psyche, our mind, our soul, our consciousness, but we just need to watch out for overindulging in fantasy and the confusion that can come with all this Neptune energy and the Mars energy pushing us to be assertive with it as well, so we just need to watch out for that. On the 2nd of February, nothing happens. On the 3rd of February, Venus makes a quintile with Jupiter at 8:51. All these aspects last for 2 days. Venus is in Pisces and Jupiter's in Taurus, and Venus is contra-parallel to Neptune. It's exact today. I talked about this just earlier in the introduction to the week. It's exact at 3:32, and as I said, it leaves us on the 8th of February. Mercury makes a trine to Jupiter. Mercury's in Capricorn, as I said, and Jupiter's in Taurus, and Venus's quintile to Jupiter adds to us being able to enjoy relationships and enjoy experiences and wanting to be having fun this week and be creative and be optimistic. It increases our social charm, and it's a good, excellent time to connect with others, whether it's in a personal, professional sort of capacity, but we just need to watch out, because when the moon goes into void, of course, at 10:20, we can just kind of be lost in emotional clarity. We can just feel a bit low, and we've got the Neptune energy, and this just adds to us feeling uncertain and scattered and confused right now. When the moon goes into Aries, it brings us extra motivation, but it adds to that Mars energy, and the moon's going to be in Aries for the next 2 days, right? So it can make us more motivated and assertive, yes, and increases our confidence and pushes us to speak our mind and assert our needs in our relationships. That can lead to clearer and more direct communication. It allows us to allow our passions to guide our decisions right now. So good energy for starting new projects and going after what we desire this week and dream big. But we just need to watch out again for unrealistic expectations, impatience, and just overstepping people's boundaries, and we may just make hasty decisions, not be mindful. So mindfulness is the key of this week to avoid hasty decisions and reactions, and this can just lead to regret. So we just have to make sure we do the things that make us feel alive, yes, but respect other people's needs to do so. But we must also consider the consequences of our actions, right? So Mercury's tying to Jupiter allows us to speak our minds with clarity and confidence. It's a great energy to share knowledge and expand our horizons, and it allows us to have beneficial discussions with others and do business meetings and presentations. Good for that, and good for all forms of intellectual exchange and communications as well. And it allows us to sort of wisely build connections and repair connections in our social circles and stuff like that this week. So on the 4th of February, Mars makes a square to Chiron. Mars is in Gemini, as I said, and Chiron's in Pisces. All of this lasts until the 7th of February. So I talked about Mars's influence on us this week. And then we've got Mercury semi-square to Neptune, and this lasts us up until the 6th of February. And Mercury's in Capricorn, Neptune's in Pisces, and this is exact at 11:14 p.m. today. So Jupiter going direct allows us to be more optimistic, and our optimistic plans can now gain momentum and speed. Mercury semi-square to Neptune warns us to be cautious of miscommunications and deceptive thoughts and actions. Don't ignore them red flags. Question yourself about your motives as well. It's important to make sure if you're signing any paperwork today or over the next couple of days, if you're feeling confused, because we've got a lot of confusion energy this week, it's important that you speak your mind and not ignore details, and seek out advice if you feel like you don't understand information right now. On the 5th of February, Mercury makes a semi-square to the moon's north node at 12:57 a.m. and all of these aspects last just for 2 days. Mercury's in Capricorn and the moon's north node is in Pisces. The moon enters Taurus at 8:46 tonight, and the first quarter moon also starts today, and the moon void of course happens at 12:17 p.m. before the moon goes into Taurus at 8:46, so it's void of course for about 8 hours today. So Mercury semi-square to the moon's north node brings tension to our communication, so there's a lot of aspects messing with our communication this week. So think before you say and react to things. It's best to use this energy to focus on our current goals, and try to not make misunderstandings stop you from going forward today, and do not let it make you go too aggressive. And it's a semi-square, right? We've already got that Mars energy, so don't let it make you sort of over confrontational. Watch out, because other people can be confrontational in their words and actions as well. So it's best to use this energy to refine your communication approach, and to align, do things that allow you to align with your true aspirations and goals. The moon's first quarter moon allows us to push forward and to make decisions, do practical, decisive actions. But the void, of course, again can bring lack of direction, and it can make it harder for some of you to make decisions. So if you feel like you can't make a decision, then don't. Use the time instead for reflection and planning, and just chill out a bit. And as the moon goes into Taurus, it brings a sense of stability and comfort, and it can ground us after the intensity of the void of course in the morning, and it just allows us to indulge in some self-care and reconnect with our physical surroundings, and we can just feel more comfortable within our inner and outer environment right now. On the 6th of February, Mercury's contra-parallel to Uranus is exact at 29 minutes past midnight, and this entered on the 1st of February, is exact today, and leaves us on the 9th of February, and Mercury's in Capricorn and Uranus is in Aries, and the Sun makes a semi-sextile to Saturn, and this leaves us on the 7th of February, and the Sun's in Capricorn and Saturn's in Aquarius. So as I said earlier this week, Mercury's contra-parallel to Uranus wants us to challenge our usual thought patterns, be more innovative in our thinking, and break free from restrictions in our communications, and to think about new beliefs and how we can implement, do the things how we can bring our new ideas, like if we have a new eating plan or exercise routine, how we can bring it into our day-to-day life and interactions, how we can be our authentic selves and show up as who we really are, no matter the context and the situations and the people, right? The Sun's semi-sextile to Saturn allows us to be more grounded, and it provides an opportunity to take practical actions, to make solid plans on our goals and ambitions, and also balance our personal responsibility. So it allows us to go after what we want and to focus on our goals, whatever that goals may be for today, but also meet any romantic needs or any other commitments as well. On the 7th of February, Neptune makes a conjunction to the moon's north node. I talked about this at the beginning of the week. It's lasting for a good month, while until the 22nd of February. It came in on the 26th of January, right? So it's exact at 6:13 a.m. today. Mercury makes a semi-square to Venus. All of these aspects that I'm about to talk about lasting to the 8th of February. This is exact at 7:11 a.m. today, and Venus is in Pisces and Mercury is in Capricorn. The Sun makes a quincunx to Mars, and the Sun's in Capricorn and Mars is in Gemini, and this is exact at 8:41 today. Venus makes a sextile to Pluto. This is exact at 12:14, and Venus is in Pisces and Pluto's in Capricorn, and Mercury makes a semi-sextile to Saturn, and Mercury is in Capricorn and Saturn's in Aquarius, and this is exact at 9:58 p.m. today. So as I said, Neptune's conjunction to the moon's north node this week allows us to dig deep into our life purpose and our higher consciousness, and to think about our decisions, especially in related to our goals, but it can just make us foggy this week. We can be confused, so I said to take time out if you're feeling like you're wanting to escape, and balance our dreams with practical steps towards our goals. So doing all you can. If you feel like you need to seek therapy, or listening to self-help podcasts, or read self-help books, or get help in any other way, do anything else that helps you feel more stable. And it's best to take things nice and slow this week rather than rush. Mercury semi-square to Venus allows us to sort of focus on our thought, but it can add to the misunderstandings in our relationships, so we have to be careful with our words. And the Sun's quincunx to Mars adds to this frustration and restlessness, so we just have to watch how we go about going after our goals and getting what we want, because we can be pushy with this energy. So we need to change how we go about things. The normal way of doing things may not get us what we want today, even if it normally does. So we just need to watch out for that and make adjustments for that. That's what quincunx energy is all about. Random acts or random things can happen, and we just have to make those changes. And sometimes we may have to make changes several times a day, right? How we talk to one person may not be how we can talk to another. Maybe successful talking to one person one way, but not so successful talking to another person in that same way. So we have to refine our communication and do all our best to sort of understand where other people are coming from, and to get our point across in a way that is not aggressive but is assertive. Venus is set star to Pluto, allows us to build deep connections and transform our relationships positively. So this energy allows us to repair the upset and arguments and conflict that we may cause this week, so that's good, right? Mercury semi-set star to Saturn gives us the discipline to be more mindful in our thought, communication, and reflect on our day and how it went, and think about how we can change our plans for our future, especially if things have gone wrong today in our communication and stuff like that. So on the 8th of February, the moon enters Gemini at 52 minutes past midnight. Mercury makes a quincunx to Mars at 4:15. The sun makes a set star to Chiron at 6:23. Mercury makes a set star to Chiron at 9:21, and the moon enters its gibbous moon phase. So Mercury's quincunx to Mars is exact at 4:41 a.m. The sun's set star to Chiron is exact at 6:22 a.m. Mercury's set star to Chiron is exact today at 7:20 p.m. and it all lasts for the next 2 days. So Mercury's quincunx to Mars adds to the clash between our thoughts and actions and reactions this week, and this can create a sense of unease within ourselves as we navigate, choose, go through our decision making processes. So it's important to be flexible and take our time and change in the ways that are necessary, in the way that we talk to others, and we just have to, just be careful about how assertive we are, but not in the people pleaser way, but in a way that allows us to avoid conflicts, but also be who we are, So the sunset star to Chiron helps us to heal ourselves and others this week, and mend, arguments, and gain understanding in our relationships and within ourselves, with more compassion and empathy. And as the moon goes into Gemini, as we close down the week, we can be more social and exchange more ideas and communicate more, because Gemini allows us to and we want to look for different viewpoints and stimulate ourselves through conversation and intellect more. But again, we just need to watch out for being gossipy, superficial, and not checking off facts and doing too much, right? Mercury's set star to Chiron again allow us to find healing through our words as well, and be productive in our conversations and conflict resolutions. This is really good. And as the moon enters the gibbous moon phase at 8:32 tonight, we're reminded to reflect on what we are cultivating, developing our life, and set intentions for the fullness that we say that we want out of our life, while remaining open to the changes that are required to align with our goals and emotional needs and the life purpose that the Neptune North Node energy is calling us to figure out this week. So yeah, that's the end of the weekly scopes from the 2nd of February to the 8th of February. Take care. I'm Amani, your holistic karmic astrologer, and I wish you a super great week. So yeah.